Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is the internal rate of return method. So this is one of the most important method to calculate the internal rate of return of a particular project. Right. So then first we will look into what are the steps required to calculate the IRR. Then I will explain what exactly the IRR. See, the first and foremost point. So determine the future net cash flows before depreciation and after taxes. So for every project, we use certain machineries and all those things. For those machineries, we will calculate the depreciation and we need to pay some taxes. So we need to determine here the future net cash flows before depreciation and after taxes. Why before depreciation? Why? Because we are not paying anything to the others. Just simply we are reducing our profits. That's why it should be calculated before depreciation and after taxes. Then next, determine the rate of return where NPV is equal to 0 by trial and error method. So here again we need to calculate the NPV, which is very important. Why we need to calculate only NPV? Because with the help of NPV only we can determine the internal rate of return. So how, at what rate the NPV can become 0? Right. So for this we can use the various rate, discounted rates by trial and error method. Okay. And the next and the last, if RR is higher than the minimum required rate of the project, then it is accepted. Means if the calculated IRR is 10% and the minimum required, right? So minimum required is 8%, then it should be accepted. Otherwise, if the IRR is less than the minimum required rate of return, then those projects are rejected. Then see what exactly the IRR is. So this method is also known as time adjusted rate of return, discounted rate of return, yield method, or trial and error method. Right. So why it is time adjusted rate of return? Because so depending upon the time that we are passed out, say year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, for all those years we will calculate the discounted rates. That's why it is the time adjusted rate of return, and we are taking the discounted values like 10% rate of return, 20% rate of return, then that is the discounted rate of return. And the next, trial and error method. So with the help of trial and error method only, means we can check randomly. Okay. Then under this method, the discount rate is determined internally. So how much we require the minimum rate of return. So thus that discount rate is determined internally by the management. Right. So these internal rate of return can be calculated in the two ways. So one is when your net cash flows are equal, means every year if you have the same amount of cash flows, then your internal rate of return should be calculated like this. PV factor is called investment by annual cash flows. Then so for that PV factor we will search from the annuity tables. Right. So search the PV factor value from present value of annuity tables. Then the corresponding or the respective rate is the internal rate of return. Then the another method. So usually in the examination they will focus on this method, because so all the time the net cash flows are not equal. Then when there are unequal, then this should be the formula. IRR is equal to lower rate plus NPV at lower rate divided by NPV at lower rate minus NPV at higher rate into changes in the rate. Okay. So by taking this formula in the examination, the students can easily solve the problem. Okay. So this is the concept about the internal rate of return. So in the next video, I will explain the problem about internal rate of return. Right. So if you are watching first time to my channel, then please like it, share it, and subscribe with your friends. It can be benefited to them. Right. Thank you.